It's looking like iOS 19 could have a new name, and going forward, Apple could change the way they name iOS. Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and in this video, I'm going to talk about everything you need to know regarding the new name we could see for iOS 19, and going forward, how Apple is going to name iOS moving forward. So it's rumored that iOS 19 could be called iOS 26. And this is so that Apple can have consistency across their different softwares. Instead of having iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, and HomePodOS being one singular number, whilst macOS, watchOS, and visionOS being completely different version numbers, we're going to only have one singular number, and that number is going to be 26. And moving forward, this is how Apple is going to name their softwares. And this is based off of next year, 2026. Now, I know it seems kind of strange as we're in 2025. The first beta will release next month on June 9th, with a public release in September, leaving only 3 months of the software. But this is why Apple is naming it 26. As in 2025, most of us are going to be using it from September to December within those 3 months. Most of the software is going to be getting updates in 2026, just like how car manufacturers release a new vehicle for that next year in the fall of that current year. Apple is doing the same thing with iOS. So iOS 26 is the new iOS 19. And we could see that across the entire lineup for the new updates. We could see iPadOS 26, macOS 26, watchOS 26, tvOS, HomePodOS, and visionOS 26 can all be named 26 for consistency across the different softwares. Now, it is still expected that we're going to get the same updates that we were rumored, where we are expected to get circular icons, kind of similar to how Samsung has their squared icons. I showed this off in a video where I put it on my YouTube community page. We could have updates to where the icons on Samsung could be more rounded. They are still square, but they're ever more rounded. Some people might even call them squircular icons, the combination of square and circular icons. We could see that in iOS 26, along with the other softwares that we can see. And going forward, I will mention the Apple naming scheme. And if they're going to name their iPhones that number as well, that we haven't heard much about, but I will mention it in this video. But we are expected to get massive updates to iOS 26. We're getting circular icons. The camera app is expected to get a massive overhaul within the App Store. The section for arcade, the Apple Arcade section, is going to have a dedicated app. I thought it was the games section. It might be the games section, or maybe it'll be both the games and the arcade section. Maybe there will be a dedicated game store app where you can download different games, or maybe it will be just for arcade. But either way, Apple is releasing a new gaming app, and that's expected to debut in iOS 26, along with having nutrition labels for each individual app. So it can show its nutrition labels for the accessibility features. I still don't know why Apple calls it that, but we could see that for the accessibility features that will be shown off right in this section Under where it says data link to you, this typical section, we can see that with accessibility features and other features that are relevant to each individual app. We can see that in iOS 26. Along with having those icons, we could have animation changes, and I typically like to test this in the sports app. If I click on individual things here, everything is a pull-up animation, and when you close out, it's a pull-down animation. When clicking on different elements in the sports app, it's a pop-out animation when clicking on your logo in the top right corner. We can see animations just like that within scrolling within different apps such as settings, just scrolling in general, swiping out of different apps. We can see things just like that in the new iOS 26. And it's also rumored that Siri could have updates. Now, I don't have an iPhone that has Apple Intelligence while I am upgrading. Either this 12 or the 14 both don't have Apple Intelligence. So I won't be able to show this even if I install the beta, which I'm going to on my iPhone 12. But we're expected to get updates to Siri where it's going to be more smarter than ever before. It's going to bring both Gemini and ChatGPT like integrations. And I did do a video earlier where I went into Gemini Live, and there were 2 updates to Gemini Live where you can access the camera and it can work perfectly when screen recording via identifying different apps. I've done that video and it is on my YouTube channel if you would like to watch the video. I go over all of the updates to Gemini with the new camera, sort of like visual intelligence on the iPhone 16 and 15 Pro models, as well as screen recording and it knowing your different home screens and identifying all of the apps. That's a nice new update for Gemini, although it can get things wrong with recognizing that I have an iPad Air 4th generation. It thought it was an iPad Pro, but that's totally understandable as that iPad does look like the iPad Pro, but it's the iPad Air 4th generation from 2020. And that device as well will be getting iOS 26. However, I will not be installing the beta. I will just be putting it on my iPhone 12 as I will be getting a newer iPhone which is going to stay on a stable software. So this phone will be running the iOS 26 beta. And I'll talk about that during the end of the video as well. Now, as far as what to expect on the iPad, I will share that during the video as well. iPadOS 26 is also going to get some new features, pretty much the same features that we've heard before, where you plug the iPad into an external monitor, where you can activate Stage Manager, and also you plug it into a keyboard, you will get that as well. We're also supposed to have those icons, those circular icons, where we're supposed to get sort of those squircular icons, a combination between square and circular. It's a lot of updates we're supposed to get. Updates to the entire interface, making the iPad feel more like the Mac. Now, because Apple is naming macOS 26, I don't know if this is going to change how they name macOS, how they name it after different things like macOS Yellowstone or macOS California. I don't know if that will change. I don't think it will because they're giving it the 26 number. It just makes me question whether or not Apple is going to change the way they name macOS. We will have to see at WWDC. I will watch the event. I'm not going to live stream the event for copyright reasons, but I am going to watch the event. Then I'll do a live stream after talking about everything that has been announced. Now, as far as what else to expect with the iPhones getting the name, for right now, there hasn't been any rumors suggesting that the iPhones could get the name 26 instead of iPhone 17. I still think it's going to be iPhone 17. Now, I did look up earlier to see how this would change the way Apple named their chips. Like, for example, the A16 chip found in the iPhone 14 Pro with the iOS 16 update. Apple is still going to keep their chip naming the same. We will still get the iPhone 17 and the A19 chip. The only thing that is going to change is the software number. We thought we were getting iOS 19. We're going to get iOS 26. Same features, same updates, just a different name for better consistency across the entire software. And I am glad that Apple is doing this. Hopefully, moving forward, this stays the same. It may be confusing to some, to those that will think you're getting iOS 19. You may be confused when you check your software update page and you see iOS 26. You may question, how are we jumping from iOS 18 straight to iOS 26? That's the new thing that Apple is doing moving forward. And Apple is doing this to keep their softwares consistent. So instead of having macOS, watchOS, and visionOS be all different numbers, while the other softwares, iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, HomePodOS, be the same numbers, Apple is doing it with one number across all softwares, 26. So comment down below, what do you think of this change? Personally, I love it. It may be confusing to some people, but I'm excited that Apple is going to change the name they name iOS 19. Now, as far as when to expect iOS 26 Beta 1, again, the dates is the same. We can expect that update on June 9th, 2025 at the Worldwide Developers Conference. And usually after the event, it will take place at 12 p.m. Central Time for my location, or 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time in the Eastern Coast, or 11 a.m. Mountain Time in the Mountain Time Zone. And 2 hours after that, we're going to get the first beta of iOS 26. And along with the other softwares that we're expected to get. And I will make videos on all of these softwares when they release in both beta and public version. And I may install the public beta, or the developer beta rather. So stay tuned. I will have lots of content. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me on TikTok, where I will post short form videos of iOS 26 and all of the other softwares as well. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.